this is my Draw My Life video, and I was going to do one of these ages back. I'm not sure if I did, but it started coming back and I was seeing a few people do one, so I thought, why not? Please bear in mind, my handwriting is awful and my drawing is rubbish. I got a D in art, so don't expect anything good from me. And I'm not going to fast forward this because I have a lot to say, but I didn't draw much because my camera was running out. So here we go. So I was born on July 15th, the year 2000, and my hair is all over this shot, I'm sorry. And when I was born, I had a lot of hair, like a crazy amount. My parents were shocked, and I actually came out, like, I was born, baby was supposed to be born face down, so I wasn't born breech. I didn't come with my legs out first. I came with my head out first, but I came with my face facing upwards. And if anyone knows me and knows I have a squishy nose, that is probably the reason why, because the noses get squished so often it has to be more like a cesarean or stuff like that, and it's very hard birth, and my mum just did it like straight away. And I was born at 12:26 a.m, so I was very close to being born on July 14th, and I was born to my mum and my dad, who met at like secondary school or something, and then my dad was a Marine and he'd left early 2000 for me. And we lived in a 3-bed house, and then I started drawing my neighbour's house because it was semi-detached, because I realised it wasn't a detached house, and I had a lot of fun there. I had the nursery room, and then I had the room I had until we moved, and then the nursery room turned into a study, but then I'm just waiting for myself to catch up because I don't want to have to fast forward it, because I know there's going to be points where I don't. So that was my home. And I lived there since I was born, and in 2004, late 2000, and then 2004, my sister was born on March 29th. Yeah, March 29th. I haven't wrote that yet on here. And so there's my dad taking me to the hospital, and then my mum's there with baby Beth. And something I haven't said is neither of us have middle names. My mum and dad have middle names, my grandma has a middle name, my aunt has a middle name, my granddad has a middle name, and my nan has a middle name, but we don't. They just couldn't decide, and they didn't see the point, to be honest. So that's Beth, and she was bald, practically. She had a little bit of hair, and then she lost it all. So they had the extremes of children. I had a lot of hair, and Beth was bald. So a lot of people thought she was a boy, but she was really chubby. Like, my mum thought I was too skinny, but Beth was really chubby. And then that is my house with the door drawn like completely tiny. And in 2006 we moved, and we stayed at my nan and granddad's for a little while. And this is a really long draw of my life because I have a really long life story to be told. For a little while, and then that's like the garage drawn, and then we stayed there for 3 months, and then we moved into this new build house, which was lovely, and I kind of forgot what it looked like because I only lived there for a little while. So we did move in like November, like September and November time, because it was around Halloween, but I know we stayed at my nan's for a few months, so I can't tell you exactly when, and I'm trying not to do my drink so I can have a drink. This isn't working. And then in 2007, like to 2008, I wrote 2007 at the top, my parents started arguing, to be honest, not soon after we moved in the new house, which is kind of a bit weird, but I know they weren't doing it before, and like we've had conversations about this, and I don't really know the full reason, and to be honest, I don't really need to know. Like, I'm happy with knowing what I know. So they said, you can't even see my mum in this. Like, I'm so bad when it comes to this because of the angle I was filming at. And then so my dad left and moved to his friend's house for a while, which meant I had to move again because neither of the parents could afford the house I lived in. So 2008, I can tell you the exact date, it was July 18th, I moved out of that house where I had loads and loads of my friends. Well, loads and loads of my friends. I had one friend, but loads and loads of my friends lived near, if that makes sense. And I stayed with my mum, I stayed at my grandma's for a while whilst my dad was still at his friends, and then he met his girlfriend. I'm going to get onto that a little bit later on, but that's still happening in my life. So we stayed there, and then around November time again, we move a lot around November and summer. Actually, that's the main times we move. I moved into the bungalow, which I moved out of in 2015. And some of the original videos on my channel, which are horrible, so don't watch them, but they're in that room. And so then I had two families, essentially, like two lives, and there was my dad with his girlfriend, and she had blonde curly hair, so she's like, everyone else had like, has brunette or really dark brunette, like slash to black hair, so that's why they're just in black. I don't have a brown Sharpie to hand, so she's the only one with different hair in this whole entire story. And then there's her really, really tall son, and that was my dad's side of the family. And then there was just my mum, and she now does have a partner. I just didn't add him in because I can't remember when they started dating, so he is around, but just not in this, I guess. And so they lived in a tiny little cottage, which I don't think I drew. I did. I drew it very, very tiny to emphasise how small it was, into this lovely, lovely big house. And I really liked it there, even though I had to share with my sister like I did at my mum's. I lived it there. I had loads and loads of friends there, and it was a newly built house, so it was my second newly built house. And I don't know, sometimes they're a bit cool, and sometimes they're not. Just depends. Because everything's always white, which is the only thing I don't like. Because at my mum's I had purple carpet. I say a lot of because I'm watching this as I'm recording this, and I was happy, and I think I'm starting to draw me, and I was happy, and I had loads of my friends. So I had my primary school friends, and then I had the friends at my dad's. It's just emphasising the different friendship groups I had. And then I went to secondary school in 2011. So I've been at primary school for ages. I just didn't draw that. I had too much going on to draw my secondary school, my primary school, to be honest. And my secondary school looks nothing like this. It was loads and loads different buildings, but that's kind of like the main building. And what am I writing? Oh, until 2013, which is a sad year. More of 2014 is, but yeah, 2013. So I moved forms at the beginning. I need to explain this just as I'm drawing my dad. I moved forms, and yeah, I didn't really like my new form too much. But in 2013, well, before this, my dad and his crazy ex, now but the girlfriend at the time, had been arguing and stuff for quite a while. And one day, like, we weren't expecting it, she just suddenly kicked him out of the house, and both of them owned it, so it wasn't her house. They both owned it, and then so my dad was just suddenly kicked out, and my nan's house was full, so we couldn't go there, and he didn't know when he could next afford to move because they needed to sell that house, but she didn't really want to sell it right now, even though she couldn't afford to stay there, so it was quite hard. And so there's my dad upset, and I remember he cried when he told us, and my dad doesn't cry, and yeah, it was very upsetting to remember that. There's me and my sister upset as we had all our friends there, and I didn't get to say goodbye. All it was just a normal bye, see you next week. And it wasn't see you next week. It was actually see you in a couple of months when we had a Christmas party just so I could say goodbye, and then not see you until a year later when I move out officially. Yep, that's kind of hard. So I stayed at my mum's permanently, and during this 2014 life was hard. My sister wasn't coping well with it all, and my brain was kind of all over the place. And then, because I was trying to still be me at school, I don't expect this, like, I just wasn't happy, and people were starting to tease and bully me because I became an easy target because I was weak, and I started blaming myself, and I was confused, and I just felt down, and I blocked myself out from the world, and I was often angry, which is what the red cloud emphasises, my anger. I was angry mainly at my dad's ex because she just made everything so difficult, and she was making the whole thing difficult. And even my parents say, like, because my mum, obviously they're good friends now, my mum and my dad, but even my dad, he says it's a lot harder than the actual divorce was, like, spin of her. And I was really sad, like 2013, 2014, and it was hard, and my grades started slipping, but not enough that anyone was concerned. I don't know if that makes sense, like it wasn't enough for teachers to pick up on. I didn't really tell anyone. I told my friends and I broke down in form, but I didn't tell them everything. And I'm not sure what I'm drawing here. In 2014, I moved out of that house. I think this is what I'm showing. I honestly don't know. Oh, in 2014, my dad met his current girlfriend, who is nice, and I I was happy and Beth was happy, and I have no idea why we look so small, because I'm like 14 to 16 at this point. And then, yeah, so it was happy, and my camera runs out of battery soon, by the way, so it's like a really weird time jump, just a warning. But yeah. So yeah, and then I went to number 5 in 2015. In 2014, I also went to Disney World twice, and you would have, like, and I don't really have many memories from that because I shut out all the memories from then, to be honest. And they really, really did help. And I'm now a young ambassador there, but I went there for counselling and stuff, and it was really helpful. And yeah, sometimes, I don't know, it's just a great service, and yeah, they helped me through a lot, so it's nice to be able to be back. And then in 2015, I moved from my mum's bungalow. Is that what I'm drawing? I honestly don't know. Yeah, to the house we live in. Now, I'm not really sure what the house looks like from the front, so that's why it's a bit weird, because I'm not really sure, don't really look at it. And then my dad moved from the tiny house that his girlfriend rented into our current house, and we're actually moving again, and I haven't had time to draw this because my camera runs out of battery, but we're planning to move again, but obviously we haven't moved yet, so that's not really part of this. And then in 2016, because not much has happened so far this year, to be honest, it's only February, but I've met some wonderful people, and I really wish my camera hadn't run out so I could have drawn this, but my YouTube really hit off on like 2016, and I was really, really happy, and I went to Sitsi, and I met some of my internet friends and the people I watched, and it was really, really good. And I did my GCSEs, and I got something like 3 A's, like 4 B's, 2 C's and a D. I can't remember exactly, but I think that's what I got. I know I had an A in English Lit, which was amazing, and then 2 A's in Science, and then can't remember what everything else was in, to be honest. And I did NCS over the summer, and I also went back to Disney World, but I can't draw a castle, so I didn't even write it. And I did NCS over summer and made some more wonderful friends. I made a lot more than that, and I went to college. And here is the time jump so in 2017, I'm happy now, and I've made new friends, and my life is just good.